scale to the REACH restriction substance list soon, and further regulated. There's maybe 10,000 different PFAS substances, and a very small subset of that is found in or common in electrical components. So here's just some articles that are kind of, I guess, validating and reiterating that that growing pressure. And so, for example, like the EPA is requiring that reports of data and usage volumes of PFAS substances date back to 2011. Also, the European Chemical Agency has published a proposal that will ban and severely restrict the manufacture, use, and marketing of thousands of broadly used man-made PFAS chemicals. And so PFAS isn't quite yet on the REACH restricted list, but it is moving in that direction. So the question that we ask ourselves is, what is your exposure to PFAS substances in your bill of materials and your products? How much of that exists, and how much are you at risk? And this is where Compliance Insights can come in and help answer that question. So what is the Compliance Insights tool? It's an online tool that enables electronics manufacturers to immediately understand how new or proposed legislations may affect their components. And it's pretty simple. It's upload your part list, your bill of materials, your products, and then upload a substance list of interest, in this case, PFAS substances with a CAS number. And a CAS number is that unique identifier of that substance. And then, Compliance Insights has an interactive report, that will provide an analysis of part number, substance overlap, substance weight, etc. So I'm just going to jump into a quick demonstration of this before moving any further. And so I'm going to jump you into VDI and the Compliance Insight report. So this is VDI. And we have our Compliance Insights is right here. So the way that Compliance Insights is organized is we have the part list, the BOMs on the left-hand side in this area, and then we've got the substance lists on the right-hand side as well. So we'll start off by selecting a bill of materials, one that I've already uploaded. It's just a list of parts, kind of random. So this is the list. There's 107 parts with FMD data, or the full material disclosure data. We show 32 different substances in just this one part, or sometimes there's 24, or sometimes there's 6. And if you click on that particular part, we'll show you how that breaks down, what those substances are based on CAS number, and also the substance weight. We also have a substance view of your BOM. And so this orders it by the most, if we were to take all the components and just break them down into the substances, there's 241 different substances in that bill of materials. Silica being the most present with, 10,221 milligrams, and diiron trioxide and copper. We have like a visual representation of that here. And a lot of this makes sense. These are conductive type materials. And then if we go to the substance list, this is where you can upload a list of interest. In this case, I have preloaded a PFAS list, and I'll show you what that PFAS list looks like. this is the example PFAS list. It's just CAS number, optional symbol, and description. I've got here, these are actual PFAS ones, and there are, let's say, maybe 30 or so. So that list is this PFAS list right here. Okay. And let's go ahead and delete this. All right. And if I click this, we have that same list here with CAS number, again, and description. And this is kind of viewed as a Venn diagram. So we've got the list of 33 substances on the right, and we have the part list here with 107 components with FMD data. And then this overlap shows, where is there kind of overlap with a substance on the list and a substance in your bill of materials. And in this case, we do have an example where there's an overlap. So we can click on that. And of the 33, there is a substance called C2F4, or a PFAS substance. And it exists in one of the parts from the bill of materials. So we can click on this CAS number to find out more about which parts contain that substance. And it looks like there's this NIC part. And if we click on that, we get a breakdown of the FMD data, and we see that in the fluorocarbon polymer paste, C2F4 exists. And there's the CAS number, and there's 1.74 milligrams of that substance. So we know that our bill of materials does have PFAS in it. And, at this point, you can, you can take that part and look for a replacement. Maybe a cross, and look at the cross and the available crosses, and upload them in here and see if there's any PFAS in that, and make the right design changes needed so that you remove that dependency. So one thing that I do want to mention is this tool has flexibility beyond PFAS, and there's a lot more value that is that exists. And the reason and how do we get that flexibility, and it's the fact that Compliance Insights is not substance, it is substance agnostic. We don't really care, like PFAS is just one of many substances that we can use, and that you can load. So for example, if you're interested in gold or titanium, or maybe there's a substance that's pertinent to your business, you can easily find out how much of that one substance exists in your products. And the reason why we're able to do that is because we're looking at the FMD data level. We're not looking at a parameter like REACH or RoHS. We're not leaning on those things. We're actually looking at the source of truth from the manufacturer. So why is it important to be fast? So we are fast, right? Compliance Insights performs this analysis and aggregation in real time. If you were to rely on REACH or SVHC attributes, it could take months or longer, to get that data updated, and that's after they're put on the REACH restricted list. We kind of go outside of that, and we don't really follow that as much. We just go again down to the FMD data. And it's important because the earlier you know that there is a problem, the more time you have to solve it. And as my colleague Scott says, it's pretty simple. Just load up a chemical list and go. So I want to show an example of this flexibility and speed. So if we go to the next slide here, this has been in the news recently. Antimony has export restrictions. So China is the leading producer of antimony globally. They provide 48% of all global production of antimony, and they are stopping the export of it. Antimony is a key material for like armor piercing ammunition, night vision goggles, infrared sensors, precision optics, electronics, right? And the United States has a dependency on this. We rely 63% of our antimony imports comes from China, and we haven't mined any antimony since 2001. Now, this export restriction went into effect September 15th, 2024, which is pretty recent, just a week or two ago. So how can compliance insights help with this potential problem? And the answer is we can actually you can use the tool to help you find what is your exposure to antimony. And we'll just go through that exercise real quick. So let's bring back the compliance insight report. Now since antimony is a new substance, we need to create a new substance list that includes it. And I'm just going to take, let's grab the CAS number of antimony, and let's grab our list here. Okay, here's our list, and antimony is 7440-36-0. Calls antimony. And then let's just save this file. Save. Great. So we have that saved. And then in this upload, let's just call this PFAS with antimony. We can upload this from our device. We're just going to upload this PFAS example list here. Open. Submit and save. And here is here's that list, and let's go ahead and validate that we have antimony in it. And we do. It's right here. Okay. So we can go back to our Compliance Insights report, and we can pull up our Compliance Insights demo with the parts, and then we can also pull, now we see that we have PFAS with antimony here. So we can select that substance list. Okay, and there's an overlap by two substances, which makes sense because we had the PFAS substance before that we found in that one part, and that hasn't changed. But we also have antimony present in our list of 107 parts, and there are actually 9 parts that contain antimony. So if we click on this CAS number, we can find out what are the 9 parts. All right, and it looks like there's some NXP parts here with antimony, and let's go ahead and just pick one, and let's go through the validation process, right? So we want to validate, well, is this actually happening? Is it not happening? And do we really have it or not? So in the post-plating part of the component, it says we have antimony, which we do. So what I want to do is I want to validate this from the manufacturer. We have a section below that pulls, all the supporting documentation, and we have a full material disclosure document. So let's go ahead and open that guy up. This is from NXP for the 208K. And let's see if that shows up. And it does. So we have antimony in the post-plating lead-free. There's 0.0009 milligrams of it present. And that's what we're representing here as well. And yeah, so let me go back to the slides. So very quickly, you can just see how, um, we can discover our exposure to any products that you have, electronics that for a substance, any substance with a CAS number. And instead of, I mean, if we think about it, if you have lots of products and each of the products has, maybe 100 to 300 electrical components, and each of those components has maybe, 20 or 30 different substances. That's a lot of substances to go through, a lot of, a lot of manual effort. And if you have a list of 40 PFAS substances or anything that or larger, and you're trying to figure out where do these things intersect and cross, and and you're trying to do this manually by hand, it can be very, very time consuming. So that's where this tool can save a lot of time, and also bring out some awareness to issues that you may not have already done a lot of effort in trying to expose. So that concludes the demonstration. If you have any, if you want to get in touch with me for any comments or questions later, I'll stick around and answer those. But you can also reach out to me directly. This is my email. I'm just tim@eetech.com. Happy to follow up with anyone who participated in the call. And again, I really appreciate you spending the time to just hear about Compliance Insights. Thank you very much.
All right. Well, thanks, Tim, for that interesting presentation and demo. We already have a pretty full question queue, but I want to let the audience know there's still time to submit your questions. Tim, Scott, are you guys ready to answer some of these questions?
Let's go. Oh, Scott might be muted.
All right.
Okay. I'm all set now.
Awesome. All right. Our first one is asking, how are REACH or PFAS different from RoHS compliance, and do any of these happen to be a superset of the other?